This story is for those who know about ghosts, for people who have lived long enough in a place like India to understand it's often best just to tell things exactly as they happened. Dr. Adams worked as our physician in Meerut, a small town in the Punjab region of northwest India. He was a quiet, rather unassuming man, round in figure and with a perpetually sleepy expression. He married a young woman who was just as gentle and calm as he was. After their wedding, it seemed they forgot about the rest of the world, content to be in their own happy bubble. Life in Meerut carried on perfectly well without them, but Dr. Adams was wrong to shut himself away from the community, a lesson he would learn in the hardest way possible. An epidemic of typhoid fever swept through Meerut, and his wife became ill. 5 crucial days were lost before he realized her condition was more than just a simple fever. 3 more days passed before he finally went to Mrs. Shaw, the engineer's wife, and nervously spoke to her about his troubles. She was so frustrated she could have shaken him. "It's a crime you waited this long to tell someone," she exclaimed, and immediately went to care for the poor woman. 7 people in Meerut contracted typhoid that winter. For 56 long days, the community fought the disease, nursing each person back to the world of the living. Just when we thought the worst was over, little Mrs. Adams took a turn for the worse. She passed away in less than a week. Everyone attended the funeral. Dr. Adams began to weep at the edge of the grave and had to be led away by friends. After his wife's death, he returned to their house, insisting on being alone. He didn't want any help. He performed his duties as a doctor flawlessly, but we all urged him to take a holiday. Dr. Adams was grateful for the suggestion and decided to go on a walking tour in the hills of northeast India. He took a gun and a large camera, hoping to capture beautiful photographs and distract himself from his grief. A somewhat lazy and not entirely honest Indian servant named Ramdas accompanied him to help with his luggage. The man had been his wife's favorite and most loyal servant, so Adams was content to let him manage all their arrangements. On his way back from the hills, Adams stopped at a place called Baggy. The lodging house there, meant for walkers, was exposed to the winds and was a bitterly cold place. He arrived at 7 in the evening, and his servant, Ramdas, went down the hillside into the village to hire carriers for the next day's journey. The sun had already set, and a sharp wind was blowing. Dr. Adams stood in front of the house, waiting for his servant to return. Ramdas came back almost immediately, running so fast that Adams thought he must have encountered a wild animal on the path. He was sprinting as hard as he could up the side of the hill. When he reached Dr. Adams, he collapsed at his feet. Blood trickled from his nose, and his face was gray with terror. Then he spoke. "I have seen the Mem Sahib." "Where?" asked Dr. Adams. "Down on the road to the village," the servant gasped. "She was in a blue dress. She looked at me from under her hat and said, 'Ramdas, give my greetings to my husband and tell him I will meet him next month at Nudia.' Then I ran away because I was so afraid." I don't know what Dr. Adams did immediately after that. Ramdas later said that his master paced back and forth in front of the house for hours, holding his arms out as if expecting an embrace, like a man who had lost his mind. But no Mem Sahib appeared. The next day, Dr. Adams continued his journey onward to Simla, the summer capital of the British government in northern India. Along the way, he endlessly questioned Ramdas about the encounter. Ramdas could only repeat what he had said before. He met Mrs. Adams, she looked at him from under her hat, and she spoke those exact words. He never changed a single detail of his story. "I don't know where Nudia is," he added firmly. "I've never been to Nudia, and I don't want to go there even if I am paid twice my usual wage." Nudia is in Bengal, in southern India. It had no connection to a doctor working in the Punjab. It's more than 1,200 miles south of Meerut, where Dr. Adams lived. Dr. Adams passed through Simla without stopping and went straight on to Meerut. There, he met the doctor who had been filling in for him at the hospital. This man was an old friend, and they spent a day discussing their work. That evening, Dr. Adams told his friend what had happened at Baggy. At that very moment, a messenger boy hurried in, holding a telegram from the government offices in Simla. Dr. Adams read it with a strange calmness. It said, "Cholera epidemic at Nudia, Bengal. Government requires assistance. Punjab government sending you there." Dr. Adams tossed the telegram onto the table. "Well," he cried, with a tone that was hard to decipher. The other doctor said nothing. What could he say? Then a thought occurred to him. "You just came through Simla. Did you hear about this already and take the job to make an end of your—" He began, but Dr. Adams cut him off. "Not at all. This is the first I've heard of it. But if death is coming for me, I won't be sorry to meet it." In the dim light of the evening, the other man helped Adams put his things back into his travel bags. Ramdas came in with a lamp. "Where is the Sahib going?" he asked. "To Nudia," Adams answered softly. At that word, Ramdas fell to the floor, clutching Dr. Adams's legs and begging him not to go. He cried and moaned until he was told to leave the room. A few moments later, he returned with his own belongings bundled together and asked for a letter of reference. "I am not going to Nudia to watch the Sahib die, and perhaps die myself," he declared. So Dr. Adams paid him his wages, gave him his reference, and went to Nudia alone. 11 days later, he joined his Mem Sahib. The Bengal government had to find a new doctor to fight the epidemic in Nudia, because Dr. Adams lay dead from cholera in the hospital there.